What are some harmless ways to screw with people? My dad used to have this game with a friend. They embarrassed me endlessly when I was a teen, but that was a bonus. Basically, when they were walking in the street, whenever they were passing someone, they would say things like, "Remember when you pushed your mother-in-law down the stairs?" Or, "I mean, it wasn't that much drug. Usually I carry way more than that." Or, "Where did you hide the knife after stabbing him?" You get the idea. Anything absolutely awful, as if they were having an entire conversation about drugs, mug, or whatever. My dad and his friend had the whole hippie look as well, so innocent passersby would quickly cross the street. Buy a set of voice-activated or motion-activated stickers from Amazon, and the possibilities are endless. I'm so getting these for the toilet at work. When at work, tell someone, "I'm going to the bathroom. Do you need anything?" I'm a huge fan of just handing somebody something without any explanation and walking away. Someone at a big camping party once handed us a bottle of rum, didn't say anything or answer our questions, just handed it over and walked away. He was pretty pissed like 2 hours later when he came back for it, and we had already drank it all lol. There was a story on Reddit a while back where a guy was refilling his wife's ketchup bottle so that it was constantly almost empty. For months she would use the same bottle, and he waited for the day she noticed that it never emptied. She bounced the bottle off his head when he revealed his game. I saw someone on Facebook comment on a picture that the three of you look great. There were 4 people in the picture. Every year on National Sibling Day, I post about my 2 great siblings. I have 3 siblings. When you shake someone's hand, move yours left to right. As they do the traditional up and down, a hilarious circle ensues. I can't believe I've never thought of this. Totally left or right hand shaking from now on. Do you know that I give you money for uploading my videos to TikTok, and the one who gains the most views in a month gets an extra $1,000? More details on my Discord server, link in the comments. Every other week or so I change which side my coworker's drill's belt clip was on, 2 screws in 30 seconds for a maddening payout. Heck if he ever caught on, as he sadly passed away last year. I got a huge kick out of doing it though. Might bring that one back as most of us share the same brand of drill. He got a great one on me. Every day or 2 he'd hide a Magic the Gathering card in my toolbox, never the same spot twice. Genuinely made me mad when I'd pick something up only to see another card hidden beneath. Eventually I had enough cards to completely cover his locker door inner and outer. He never took them off. Even cut out cards to fit the vents on a locker. I spent a good hour or 2 on my day off making it. Proud of that one. Rip Chris, pranks haven't been the same since you left. Your locker still remains covered in Magic cards and nobody has questioned it to this day. When driving I like to wave at random people as if I knew them. Hilarious to see instant confusion on their faces. I used to wave at random cars if I liked the car. I passed this really nice old Chevy every day on the way to and from work. We now wave to each other every time. I know someone who always takes an item to a party and leaves it somewhere in the house. I put a tiny piece of masking tape over my coworker's mouse laser on April Fool's Day one year, wrote April Fools on it. He troubleshot every single thing except examining the mouse. He eventually called it who simply turned the mouse over and pointed it out to him. If I know someone is walking a little ways behind me and I turn a corner with nobody else around, I like to run 10 to 20 steps to widen the gap and then laugh to myself thinking that the person behind me will be confused. I doubt anyone ever notices, but I get a kick out of it every time. When someone knocks on the public washroom door, you are and respond with "come in." I like asking if they have a warrant. My father prefers to ask if they're ready to answer these my riddles 3. The movie theater in my town is usually mostly empty. There's been a couple of times when I've come in to get seated and there's literally only one other person in my auditorium. There's an evil part of me that wants to just go sit right next to them. Not illegal, but it should be. If someone asks for your name, saying something like Jack, but with only 1 P, carefully step over a non-existing obstacle. Don't turn around when you walk into a lift. I mess with colleagues during meetings by controlling how they sit. You copy everything they do to start. They lean back, you lean back, etc. Then, slowly, take the lead. If they are sitting back, sit forwards. I have managed to start mini Mexican waves of people moving back and forth in meetings. My friend was logged into his Twitter on my tablet, so I kept changing his profile picture to a banana. He thought someone hacked him and tweeted about it. I replied to the tweet using his profile. It got so bad he was arguing with himself on Twitter. After giving a compliment, say "no offense" and watch them struggle to find the non-existent insult. Whenever I visit my extended family across the country, I bring a bag full of random remotes that I don't use anymore. Just random remotes that go to old drawers or anything really. Just hide them around their house. They'd only recently caught on. It works best if you are standing, but use your judgment. Gradually lower the volume of your voice. Others will match your volume and they tend to move closer. Wait for your moment and just start speaking in a normal or slightly louder than normal voice. When having a conversation during a meal, specifically only ask questions to people that are chewing. I was never a server, but had this taught to me by a dear friend of mine years ago when we used to eat in a public cafeteria and mess with people we just met. Love this one. It's on the verge of being rude, but it's so subtle people will assume you just lack awareness. When you're talking to someone, just keep handing them random items. They'll just keep taking them without realizing it. I once handed someone an ice cube while passing them in the hall at work. Keep correcting them on the pronunciation of your name, even when they are saying it correctly every time. This one is harmless, but occasionally can drive someone mad. My mom has a bunch of framed family photos hanging on a wall. One day I was visiting, I took them all down and scanned them with a little hand scanner. I photoshopped small changes on them, removed some people from some photos, added a couple of celebrities in the background, etc., print them out and replace them a few days later. I can't forget her face when she realized it was me, and she was not losing it. My neighbor got an expensive new camera for his front door. Randomly, for the last several months, I have covered myself in a black cloak, including face, crawled up into camera view, and left a random harmless object. A carrot, spool of thread, 3 ink pens with the caps mixed up, dumb meaningless things. On camera, a dark shape appears and disappears, leaving a random object behind. It is driving his silly ex crazy. Mail someone a red golf ball every week for a while. Then mail them a green golf ball and stop. Say "no pun intended" after a sentence where there was clearly no pun. If you ever have a moment with their computer or cell phone, use their search engine to look for a bunch of nonsense products and then erase the search history. The algorithm will think they have an interest in said products and put a bunch of ads recommending them for the next few days. I mispronounce famous people's names constantly, then say it correctly randomly so they never know what to expect. Billie Eilish, John Legends, Jason Ackles. I was talking with a supervisor and I happened to have like 4 hard-boiled eggs in my jacket pocket for lunch. So while talking with stuff, I took out an egg, cracked and shelled it and ate it. The conversation kept going, so I did it again, but I could see he was growing quizzical. I waited a few more minutes, pulled out another and ate that too. By then I could tell he was like, whiff. The conversation was wrapping up, so I pulled the last one out and he stopped mid-conversation and asked me, "How many f***ing eggs do you have?" I just shrugged, shelled, and then ate the last egg. My grandpa does this thing where he stops in the busy street and starts staring into the sky, as if he's seen something amazing. It doesn't take long for other people to stop and stare too. Once he reaches critical mass, he quietly slips away, chuckling to himself. When someone is talking to you, look right over top of their head. Keep the conversation going, but look right over them. Say high five to someone, but don't put your hand up. No, that's just evil. My grandpa glued a quarter to his driveway near the sidewalk and sits in his living room and watches people try to pick it up. I didn't know this till I found a quarter in the driveway one time. I love mistakenly pronouncing words mid-sentence only to pronounce them correctly moments later. If a bird lands by you and there are people around, crouch down towards the bird and ask, "Did you bring my messages?" And then just go back to what you were doing. When I was a corrections officer, we had a guy who worked with us who was kind of a dick to everyone, and he was computer illiterate. We took a screenshot of his desktop and moved all of his icons off of it so it looked legit, but nothing worked. It took him an hour before he finally called it, and they figured it out pretty quickly. He wouldn't talk to any of us for about a week. When I ordered coffee and they asked for the name, I stay green, like the sky. Every few months I'd drive by my buddy's truck parked at his work and think, yeah, today is the day to mess with him. I'll open the tailgate or maybe fold a single mirror. Sometimes I'll just raise one windshield wiper so it waves hello to him as he walks out after a long day. He's been complaining about it to me for years. I just smile and say, "You should put up cameras." When someone asks for the time, "Excuse me, do you know what time it is?" "Yes." "Yes what?" "Yes, sir." I also like the response of "you mean now." Walk up to a couple of your coworkers. Say, "I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you." Walk away. I have a secondary remote that my kids don't know about. Sometimes I'll stand out of sight and turn up the volume or hit back when they select something to watch. It's pretty funny. While going up the chairlift at a ski resort, my friend, I would call out to someone under the chairlift, call them a random name and yell, "We'll wait for you at the top." Usually the person would spend time trying to explain to us they weren't who we thought they were. We'd act like we couldn't hear them and insist we'd wait for them at the top. Save all the White Smarties candy and fill an aspirin bottle. Dump out a handful and start chewing them. When my husband pours his coffee into his mug and turns around to get milk out of the refrigerator, I pour his coffee back into the coffee pot or into my mug. I cackle as I run out of the room. Call one of those "How's my driving" bumper sticker numbers and let them know that their driving is wonderful. Misuse idioms on purpose. Oh man, this turned out to be a blessing in the skies. When they ask what your favorite song or band is, tell them you don't like music. When they ask why, say because there are no pictures like movies and take shows. Say, never mind when someone interrupts you. It will make them more curious about what you wanted to say. Works really well with my siblings. Quietly tell a random person this is not the appropriate time for this. In high school at track practice, we stole one of our friend's car keys. It was old enough it didn't have a chip inside. We drove to Home Depot and got a copy made and returned his keys. Every day at practice, we would move his car to a different parking spot, but in the same lot. One thing I do is when someone asks directions, I say something like, if you take a left out of the parking lot and go down to the light, then turn right, you'll be going the wrong direction. It's actually give correct directions. If you haven't watched my other videos, then be sure to watch this one. I bet it will amaze you. Or you can watch all our videos in a row in this playlist. Write your stories in the comments, subscribe, turn on the bell, and go to our Discord. There we give you money for uploading our videos to TikTok. You uploaded, you gained views, you got money. Link in the comments.